Stampers, and welcome to Laura's Stamp Pad. Today I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful card in a box. How amazing is that? So you can see it's a box and it stands up all on its own, so it's gorgeous for the person that you give it to display and have up all year round almost. So this one has beautiful flowers and then the butterflies as well. The best part is it folds up and it goes in a regular size envelope. How amazing is that? See, it's all perfectly flat, and then when they open it, it pops up and all of these pieces come down and it just looks amazing. Super fabulous. So it does take a little bit of finesse to play with and get your dimensions and everything correct. So that's why I'm going to do this today with you on video. So let's get started. We're going to start with a piece of cardstock. I'm using crumb cake cardstock. This measures 5.5 by 9, and I'm going to bring in my Simply Score tool. And this is what we're going to use to score. So first, along the 5.5 side here, I'm going to score it in half at 2 3/4. Then I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. And so now we're going along the 9-inch side, and I'm going to score it at 2 1/8, at 4 1/4, at 6 3/8, and at 8 1/2. So now we have all those score lines. I don't know how well you can see those. And now we're going to bring in 2 little scrap pieces. So these little scrap pieces actually measure 1 inch by 3 1/8 inches. And you're gonna score both ends of those at a 1/2 inch. And then you'll fold those to make a little Z pattern. So you see you have your little Z there, and that's what's going to go on the inside of our boxes. And that's what's going to hold all of our stuff together. So now we're done with our Simply Score, and we can move that aside. And now we're just going to cut. You can either use your paper cutter or you can use your paper snips. I'm just going to use my paper snips here. And we're actually going to cut off that little flap. So here we have the end, and so I just cut off this top flap here, and then I'm just going to cut down to that score line on all of these scores. So this is the score line, and I'm going to cut to that center score line. And now you can fold. I will say you want to leave one of them not folded and not creased, so I'm going to go ahead and leave this one. That will be your back piece, so that's this piece here, and you want that one to be a little stiff to stand up. It's okay if you go ahead and score it or fold on that score line because you're going to add this back piece, so that'll help kind of keep it up high and strong. But if you don't actually fold that one down, then that helps as well. So we're just going to fold on all of these score lines, and then you can use sticky strip or fast fuse, but I'm just going to add it on this little tab here at the end. I'm using fast fuse, and don't forget that little check mark at the end. Check! And I find that the best way to seal your box is to fold this piece in and then close your box. This way I know it is laying flat, and I don't have to worry about trying to line it up perfectly and then having it be, you know, a little off just a bit. This way I know it'll lay flat, even if it is a little off on the actual piece here, which sometimes I do have to trim that just a little bit, but I want it to at least lay flat. So even if it's off there, I want it to lay flat more than be lined up perfectly. So now we have our fabulous little box. And it looks like maybe maybe this was the one that I didn't fold down. I'm not really sure. So for decorating this, I will bring back in the completed sample. For decorating, I used Blackberry Bliss on each of these 4 pieces here. And that cardstock measures 2 inches by 2 5/8. And then I used some of the Painted Blooms Designer Series paper and layered that on top. That's the yellow stripe. And that measures 1 7/8 by 2 1/2. Then this back piece, which I did in Whisper White, this measures 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. And then you can decorate that, and then that's where you can actually add your little message. So here I actually used the Sale-A-Bration stamp set Simply Wonderful, and I colored in the little flower with my markers, and then I added You're the Best. So that fits so perfectly side to side there and just looks fabulous. For the decorations on the inside, first you will want to adhere your little Z folds. So I'm going to add some of the Fast Fuse on the opposite side. So not here and here, but here and here. So either the opposite side or fold it in. Whoop! I went onto my grid paper just a little bit there. So then what you're going to do is you're going to hold one of the flaps in because you don't want it to actually adhere yet. And you're going to place this along the back side. So flush against the back side. Let's see how well I can show this on camera. Okay. So do you see how it is flush against the back? So this piece here is flush against the back. And then what I'm going to do is now I'm going to unstick my finger from that, and I'm just going to close my box. And by doing this, that other piece is adhering to that other side. So now I'm squeezing that nice and tight, and now it is perfectly aligned. Do you see that in there? Right in here? So if I were to try to place that where I thought it might go, then again, it might not fold completely flat, and it might be a little, you know, wiggly and everything, or, you know, maybe a little crooked. So by just allowing it to seal closed whenever I push it tight, then that way it's actually adhering to the correct spot and laying flat. So let's do this one more time, and hopefully I haven't confused you too much. So again, I have adhesive on opposite sides. My 2 fingers both have adhesive on them. And I'm going to hold the one side back because I don't want it to stick to my box anywhere. So I'm holding it pressed against the back. And now this one, this piece here, is going to go flush with the front of my box. So you can see it a little bit better this time, I think. So it's going to go flush with the front there. And then again, I'm just going to let go of the other one and close the box. Oh, it doesn't want, there we go. And now I'm going to close it and press there. So now I have these 2 little zigzags that I can then use that piece to decorate. So I'll just take my little pieces here, and I took the flower. This flower I actually just adhered right to that bar. This one I added a little piece of Mossy Meadow as a stem. And then I've also, for the little butterflies, so that they actually look like they're flying. You see, it's really hard to see it. But there's actually a piece of window sheet there. So you see how this butterfly just looks like he's flying out in the middle of nowhere, because you can actually see the flower behind it. So he's actually on some window sheet. And then this one I adhered to the back of the box, and he's off to the side. For this I actually used the Pansy Punch and the Coordinating Stamp Set, which is the Flower Shop stamp set. So I used those 2 for the flowers. I used the Bird Builder Punch for the little leaves and stems there. And then I used the Papillon Potpourri stamp set for the butterflies and the Coordinating Bitty Butterfly Punch. How fabulous is that? Super cute. You could do this as flower bouquets. You could do it with stars for a graduation. You could do it with lots of different butterflies. You could do it with so many different things. Balloons for all occasions. So be sure to check out my blog, laurastamppad.com, or my stamp pad, however you want to see that. laurastamppad.com. I will have more photos of this and also written out instructions, although it's probably a little easier maybe to follow on this video. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you liked this video. Happy stamping!